Welcome to the Daily English Podcast, your daily companion for improving English, growing confidence, and changing the way you communicate. In today's episode, we're talking about something very powerful. Think in English, not in your native language. Most English learners translate every sentence from their native language into English before speaking. You hear a question, you think in your mother tongue, translate it in your head, and then speak in English. But by the time you find the right words, the moment is gone. You hesitate, you lose confidence, and sometimes you stay silent. This is one of the biggest reasons why people struggle to speak English fluently. Because fluency doesn't come from memorizing words. It comes from thinking directly in English. Let's understand this deeply. When you think in your own language, your brain works twice. First to form the idea, then to translate it. But when you think in English, your brain works once, directly creating the sentence in English. That's why native speakers sound natural. They're not translating. They're thinking in the language. Now, you might ask, how can I start thinking in English? That's a great question, and that's exactly what we're going to explore in this episode. Let's begin with a simple idea: exposure creates thinking. The more you hear, read, and use English, the more your brain starts to think in it automatically. It's just like living in another country. When you hear the same language around you every day, your thoughts slowly start to form in that language. But you don't have to live abroad to do this. You can create that English environment right where you are. Start by changing your small habits. When you see the time, think, it's 8:30. When you go out, think, the weather is nice today. These small, simple thoughts are the beginning of English thinking. Let me tell you something interesting. When you speak English after translating, your brain gets tired quickly. That's why after a few minutes of conversation, you feel exhausted. But when you think in English, your brain becomes faster, lighter, and more natural. It starts connecting words automatically, like muscle memory. You don't need to be fluent to start thinking in English. In fact, you must start thinking in English to become fluent. Let me share a story with you. There was a boy named Arjun. He always dreamed of working in a big company, but his English was weak. Every time he spoke, he would first think in his native language, then translate, and by the time he spoke, he forgot half the sentence. He was shy and scared to talk in front of others. One day, his mentor told him, "Arjun, stop translating. Start thinking in English, even if it's simple." At first, Arjun didn't understand how. But he started small. He labeled objects around his room: door, table, chair, bottle, notebook. He described his day in simple English. I wake up early. I go to work. I meet my friends. He started talking to himself in English quietly every day. Slowly, things began to change. He noticed that English words started coming naturally. He no longer needed to translate. After a few months, he gave a presentation in English confidently, without memorizing. He thought in English and spoke freely. That's the power of this practice. When you stop depending on your native language, you free your mind. You stop worrying about mistakes and start focusing on expressing yourself. Here's the truth. You can't speak what you don't think. If your thoughts are in your mother tongue, your mouth will always search for English words. But if your thoughts are already in English, your words will flow like water. Now, you might wonder, how do I train my mind to think in English daily? Let's go step by step. First, Surround yourself with English. Listen to English podcasts, songs, and YouTube videos every day. Not to memorize, but to feel the rhythm of the language. The more your brain hears English, the faster it starts producing English thoughts. Second, describe your surroundings in English. Look around and talk to yourself in your mind. The fan is on. My phone is charging. I need to send an email. These small sentences slowly replace your native language thinking. Third, talk to yourself. Yes, self-talk is powerful. You can do it silently, while walking, cooking, or traveling. Ask yourself questions in English like, "What should I eat today?" Or, "What's my plan for tomorrow?" Answer yourself in English. This simple habit builds thinking patterns faster than anything else. Fourth, stop translating. If you don't know a word, use another simple one. For example, if you can't remember the word reliable, say, a person you can trust. If you can't remember delicious, say, very tasty. The goal is to keep speaking and thinking without switching languages. Fifth, read and listen more than you study grammar. Fluency is not about rules, it's about rhythm. When you read stories, listen to podcasts, or watch English movies with subtitles, your mind absorbs how sentences are naturally formed. Slowly, you start thinking that way. There's another person I'd like to tell you about, Mina, a college student. She used to translate every sentence in her head before speaking. Even simple sentences like, "Can I go to the library?" took her 10 seconds to form. Her friends laughed at her hesitation. But she made a bold decision. From that day, she would think only in English. She changed her phone language to English, wrote her diary in English, and even started dreaming in English after a few months. She didn't force it, she lived it. Today, Mina speaks naturally, confidently, and beautifully. The power of English thinking is not about speed, it's about freedom. Freedom from hesitation. Freedom from fear. Freedom from the constant pressure of translation. When you start thinking in English, your expressions become natural. You don't speak word by word, you speak in ideas. And that's what fluency really means, expressing your thoughts clearly and comfortably. Let me remind you of something important. Children don't learn by studying grammar. They learn by listening, repeating, and thinking in that language every day. You can do the same, no matter your age. Start today. When you see something, name it in English. When you plan your day, think in English. When you talk to yourself, switch to English. Even if you use short sentences, that's fine. Slowly, your mind will adapt. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to forget words. Every mistake you make is proof that you're learning. You're growing. You're improving. Thinking in English is not about becoming someone else. It's about unlocking the global version of yourself. A version that can connect, share, and shine anywhere in the world. Imagine this. You walk into a meeting, and English sentences come naturally. You watch an international video and understand every word. You talk to a foreigner, not with fear, but with excitement. That's what happens when you train your brain to think in English. So, don't wait for the perfect time. Start now. Change one thought today, from your native language to English. Tomorrow, change two. Within weeks, your brain will switch automatically. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll wake up, think about your morning plan, and smile, because it all happened in English. That's when you'll know your mind has transformed. That's when you'll know, you didn't just learn English, you started living it. English is not just about speaking. It's about thinking. And when your thoughts change, your entire life changes. So keep listening, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep thinking in English. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily English Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends who are learning English. Together, let's create a world where everyone thinks freely, confidently, and beautifully in English. See you in the next episode. Until then, keep learning, keep believing, and keep growing.